Hello, world, and welcome to the For Your Best Self podcast. It's dermatologist Dr. Saluja, and today I'm proud and pleased to host Darcy Manning, a gifted professional makeup artist that serves the Space Coast, Central Florida, and beyond. Prior to Florida, Darcy and her family previously lived in Los Angeles. And I had the pleasure of getting to know Darcy during a private makeup lesson I arranged for my daughter and I as we were trying to think of a fun and productive thing to do during a vacation that turned into a pandemic staycation. And Darcy had an absolutely fun and beautiful Instagram, and I was seeing all these gorgeous before and after photos. And so I thought, well, let me bond with my teenager and let us learn something from one of the best. And all I can say about the experience was, wow, it was such a great learning opportunity. Darcy was and is the queen of contouring and eye enhancement. And, I started thinking after this experience that well done makeup and understanding how best to use makeup to enhance and empower you goes hand in hand with customized skincare. And I wanted to share the aesthetics of great makeup with everyone on the podcast. So in addition to makeup lessons, Darcy works with top photographers and does professional makeup for gorgeous business portraits, family portraits, magazine covers, boudoir photos, and more. And welcome, Darcy.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Darcy, tell us a little bit about what a professional makeup artist is and how you got started in makeup.
Okay. A professional makeup artist is someone who understands how to make a woman look and feel her best. So it's understanding lighting and how to manipulate light and create light and shadows on a face where it doesn't normally exist or where it would exist, and enhancing it. It's understanding, what makes your clients insecure, what makes them happy, and then playing up the features that they love and kind of downplaying the features that they're not so excited about. So I think when you hire a professional makeup artist, they understand those kind of things, and then they also understand how to, of course, make your makeup last all day long, especially out here in Florida in this crazy humidity.
Right. How did you get started in makeup? I know you weren't always a professional makeup artist.
Right. So PR is my background. Public relations is something I've been doing for almost 20 years, or possibly even just a little over 20 years now. And I love it. I love all aspects of it. But makeup was always something that was in the back of my mind, always, I've always had an interest in it. And it wasn't until recently that I was thinking about this, because I get asked this question often, how I got started in makeup. And I think clients are often surprised that, I was so corporate in my former life, and now I'm doing something creative.
Midlife crisis?
No, it could be. Yeah. Because the closer I got to 40, the scarier it got to
Actually, now I'm hearing it's not midlife crisis. It's midlife reevaluation.
Oh, that's a lot more PC.
Yeah.
But I had kind of an epiphany, like, I think my mom had something to do with this career path, because I think she was a really big influence on kind of how I perceived makeup. So she's in her 70s, and she grew up in a time where you don't leave the house without makeup. You don't check the mail without a full face of makeup. So I think that really played into my perception of makeup, and, always putting your best foot forward and looking your best and presenting yourself well. So I think that's how it got started. But I also remember too, so we moved in the 5th grade from LA to Bakersfield, California. And I remember, big time, big time. I remember an Avon catalog showing up at our front door. And I think that was it for me.
Love at first
I
sight.
was hooked. I was so hooked.
I used to like getting those Avon catalogs, or sometimes in the lunchroom, or
Right?
yeah, you would see.
Yeah, all the colors, and I was
That's a blast.
completely hooked, and I can't believe, my mom let me order stuff out of the catalog, but I don't know. Had I not played with makeup in elementary school, would I have such an interest in it? Who knows? So as I got older, I was the one, that was doing makeup and experimenting on all of my girlfriends. And then as we got into our 20s, I was doing my girlfriend's makeup for their wedding, but still doing my PR career. So I wasn't ready quite yet to switch gears. But I think us moving out here from California to Florida was kind of that impetus for change. I was ready to do it.
Is there a license or a training?
So at the time, this was 2016, and at the time in LA, there was no license that was required for makeup artists, but I went and got my certification. So I had that when I came out here. And then I think Florida was going through a shift as well, because they didn't require makeup artists to have licenses as well, but then they were. Anyways, there was a lot of gray area. We did a lot of research, called a lot of agencies, and we could never get a really straight answer for freelance makeup artists. So finally, ultimately, it is required for Florida makeup artists to have a license. So I went back to school and I got my license. And
so a passion and license. Great. So I know how my makeup lesson was. Tell me a little bit about your makeup lessons. Who are they for? What do they consist of?
I love what I do, but the lessons are really a passion for me. I love passing on knowledge. I love sharing knowledge. I love empowering women to be able to do this for themselves, just to wake up and be able to make themselves look more beautiful. Because let's face it, when we feel good about ourselves, we treat everyone around us a little better. So our kids, our husbands, they all benefit from this.
That is true. That's a great way to present it to your husband or your significant other.
So my makeup lessons, I do individual lessons, just one-on-one, myself and a client, and it's a 2-hour lesson where I will show you all the fundamentals of creating a flawless base, which includes primer, foundation, concealer, bronzer, contouring, blush, highlighter, all of that. So that creates a really flawless base. And then I will take a client through and show her how to do a really pretty daytime look with her eyes, and then ways to incrementally kick it up a notch and kick it up a notch until you're like full glam.
Yeah, that's amazing. That transformation is amazing.
It's so much fun.
Do you have a signature makeup style, or something that you really like doing, or you like on yourself? Or, I feel like when patients see me, they're like, oh, I want J-Lo everything sometimes. But I think she does nice. It's a very natural looking makeup, and so maybe that's why people are asking for aesthetics that look similar, whereas when patients see harsh makeup, they maybe don't realize that that's also influencing their perception.
That's funny because I get J-Lo a lot too. I get a lot of J-Lo requests. But it's funny. I was looking through my work. This was like a few months back. And I was like, man, I'm such a one-trick pony. Like there's definitely a signature style. Like you could see I guess a cohesiveness or a theme between all of my clients. But I think, and I've come to accept, I think they come to me for that look.
Right.
A lot of women will say the same thing. I want to look like me, just a better version of me. And I bet you get that a ton too. Right. So the bulk of my clients, I would say, are women in their late 30s to late 50s. And I will have clients in their 60s as well. But it's all women who value natural beauty and kind of lean toward that aesthetic of just, highlighting their beautiful features and not painting their faces or not masking or covering things up. So I hope to be able to give that to
So do people ask you for things that you advise them not to do? Are there trends that are occurring or have occurred in the makeup industry that that you strongly say avoid?
Oh my God, this is such a fun question. And luckily this little trend is kind of on its way out. It's fizzing out, but fluffy brows, so which are also called boyfriend brows, I believe. But imagine Brooke Shields' brows on steroids. That was really in for a little bit. And you know how Florida, it takes a little bit for like trends to come over this way. So I don't think it's actually quite made it over here, but in LA, New York, you know, any big city, over in Europe, the boyfriend brow was huge. These big fluffy caterpillar looking brows. It was a really big thing. Like you would see them everywhere, not just on runways. So I am so glad, and I will not do that for my clients. I just don't think it's flattering at all. I am obsessed with brows, and I think, you know, they're hugely important. They really will change the shape of not just your eyes, but your entire face. But I won't do that.
Okay.
That's something
but
I
won't do that. Isn't there a song? A song.
But I won't
do that.
I won't.
So eyebrows come up a lot in my field because I'm doing Botox, and we're always trying to lift the brows.
Right.
And I do see some, honestly, on the other side of caterpillar brows, very, very thin brows. And I think that when we lift very thin brows, it's not that noticeable that I lifted them. What are makeup tips for enhancing the brows properly?
Okay, brows are huge. So I think the best advice that I would give someone working on her brows, because that's a challenging one. A lot of women come to me, and that's a lot of what our lesson focuses on, brows.
Well, and I see some are too dark, and I'm like, ooh, that's a little too dark, or that's a little too much, you know. So we want an approachable face, right? Too. We want beautiful but approachable.
Right. You don't want Sharpie brows. We don't want Angry Bird brows.
Right.
I have two little pieces of advice for brows. So if you add color, whether that's brow powder or a pencil, on the top of the arch, that'll give you like an instant little eye lift effect. Really flattering. So I do that with almost every single client. I will always add color above the arch, even past where the hairs stop. And I think that's a lot of where women feel like they only need to color in the area where there's hair. But if you go beyond that, it'll transform the shape of your brows. And then my second tip would be the gradient effect, but not where the head is darker. You want the tail of your brow darker than your head. And I think that's what gives you a more natural looking brow.
So lighter in the center, or in the medial part of the brow.
Right.
By the nose, and then darker
at the tail.
And it's okay to go beyond the hair.
It's okay to go beyond the hair. Go extend it above, extend it out to the sides, bring the tail longer. Oftentimes women's brows are too far apart. So I will fake brow hair strokes at the head of the brow to bring the brows closer. Where should the brow start? So they often say, like if you use a pencil like this and you hold your pencil on the side, you're going to start your brow right here, which usually aligns with the inner corner of your eye. Okay. But I actually like to extend it past that, so even closer to the center of the face. I feel like that just lends for a more chic eyebrow.
Yeah, very.
And that's my little
eyebrows are fascinating.
Oh, they're huge.
As we're moving down the face, and you know, we talked about brows, and so then cheekbones. Tell me, cheekbones remind me of contouring. I know more of the face is contoured than just cheekbones. Right. But I contour cheekbones with filler, or contour jawlines with filler. You know, Juviter and Voluma or Restylane Lift, and those are injectable procedures. They're not the end all be all. Obviously, we want to still have makeup or somebody who may not be ready for filler, you know, kind of having their skin enhanced. What do you suggest for contouring, or what are your thoughts on contouring?
Contouring is life. It's
Contouring is life. Well, that's a statement. I think that's going to be our highlight.
There's the headline right there. Contouring is life. Makeup magic. Contouring is life. Yes. Once you get it, once you learn the placement, the proper placement of contouring, it is crazy what it can do. It's like you said, it's an instant facelift. So for ladies that are not ready for your procedure yet, then they can learn some makeup tricks on contouring, and it will, enhance the cheekbones. It'll chisel out a jawline. It'll sculpt a nose, bring down the size of a forehead. I mean, conceal a double chin. Contouring will do all of that. Make a nose more narrow. Lips look fuller. Contouring's amazing. But also for ladies who have had procedures done, injections done by you, they need to understand now how to work with their new features and how to best enhance.
How to bring them out.
Mm-hmm, exactly. To play all of these things up so that it is visible and, so I think makeup, it goes hand in hand.
And is contouring makeup special? Like, do you get a contour palette or?
There are contour palettes, but it's usually, so for me, contour comes in all different types. Like it could come in a cream form. It can come in a powder form. Or liquid form. I highly recommend for novices, they start with a powder. That is the most user-friendly of the three. And it's not as hard to mess up. But for contouring, placement, that's the biggest, most important thing. You just place it in the right way. And then also contouring, it's intended to mimic shadows that are out there in the real world. So your contour, I think a lot of women will use contour and bronzer interchangeably, and you can't, because bronzer is intended to warm up the face, give you that really beautiful sun-kissed glow. I just left Bora Bora. And contouring is intended to chisel and sculpt features. So your contour, you want always, it has to be cool. So it's going to be brown, but you want it a cool brown that looks a little gray even. And then you also want your contour to be matte. It can never, ever be shimmer. Unlike bronzer, bronzer can be either matte or shimmer. Your contour has to be matte, always.
Interesting. That I think the difference between contour, bronzer, highlighting is something I definitely learned from you.
Oh, good. Yay.
Working down further, talk to me about lips. They're obviously covered a lot in masks right now, but are there guidelines for how to choose suitable colors for the lips for certain skin types or certain ages? Are you a fan of lip gloss or not? Is that for certain situations? Again, when I'm in an injectable world, lips are so different on everyone. Somebody's features can have a very plump, full lip. Others, a smaller lip looks better, and it's more about hydration and border. So when you're applying makeup to lips, what are some tips? Or when a client is?
Lips are big right now. That's a really hot trend right now. I see a lot of lips gone wrong too, but you do a gorgeous job on lips. It's so natural. And I kind of take that approach too, but just like with eyebrows, how I almost on every single client will alter their eyebrows by adding product up above at that arch. With lips too, I overdraw almost every single client that sits in my chair. I always overdraw their lips, because for me, full lips are not only more attractive, but it makes the face more proportional somehow. So I will always overdraw underneath to give a fuller pout. And there are other techniques too with contouring to modify the pout to make the bottom lip look fuller and the top lip look fuller. Makeup is all manipulating light. And so I use contouring and highlighting products to do that. But with lips, yes, I always overdraw on lips. And
is there such a thing as too dark of a color? I feel like sometimes I'm not drawn to dark lip colors or dark lip colors on people. Is that okay?
I find that color is more a personality thing.
Okay.
So if you have a bold personality where you can pull off bolder colors, do it. I think it's a reflection of your personality. Whereas if you have a very meek personality and you're trying to do this flashy, bold lip, then it becomes questionable. Yeah.
Interesting. That's a great piece of advice, is to really think about personality. Are red lips still done?
I don't see them as often. Well, actually, now that we're moving into fall, I'm starting to see a lot more red lips. Even brides are requesting red lips, whereas you normally never see that. Brides normally want a nude lip.
Right.
But I think fall has kind of gotten everyone in this like deeper reds and oranges and
browns. Almost celebrate something. If we can't celebrate so many things, celebrate the seasons with color, right?
I know. Give us lipstick at least.
Do you ever advise gloss?
I don't mind gloss when used sparingly.
Okay,
so
I have that right.
Gloss like shimmer, I think it needs to be used very sparingly. So I will place gloss not across the entire lip, top and bottom. I only place gloss just in the center on the bottom and top. And I feel like that gives you just a little bit of, enough of a sheen to where your lips look hydrated and healthy. Mm-hmm. But you don't walk around with these big shining duck lips like, oh, no.
Okay. I was wondering about the gloss. If I were on a desert island and I could take, one product, because I can't worry about all of
Dr.
everything,
Saluja. Okay.
and I could just take one product, what would it be? It'll get easier after, but the hardest question
one product,
is this.
Just one? Okay.
Just one.
So assuming we're on a tropical island, we won't need the bronzer because we'll have a nice tan.
Oh, that's good. Okay, good.
And if you have your brows tattooed like me, then you don't have to bring brow pencil. Oh my God, this is so hard. I think I might say waterproof black eyeliner or blush. So
okay.
So blush.
Why?
Blush is like bronzer in that you could use it in a variety of ways. So, okay.
Yeah, I asked you a hard question. It's an easy question for me, right? Because the
so
desert
what would you
island.
Take?
Well, I'm talking skincare. You have to take sunblock.
Oh, I thought we were talking about makeup. I wasn't even thinking skincare mode.
No, it's not skincare. Your question's makeup.
Okay.
My question would be skincare.
Okay.
So I made it easy.
Sunblock.
That's an easy question for skincare. Sunblock.
Okay.
Okay. Makeup's a little harder, but go. Why blush?
So blush, you could, blush makes you look youthful. So it's a product that you can skip if you're in a hurry. And I say double up on the bronzer on the cheeks and it's really gorgeous. But blush makes you look young and pretty. And you can also use blush as eyeshadow and it also looks flattering. So when you use one product in multiple spots on your face, it's really, really flattering. It's kind of, it just brings the whole face together. It's a really nice, cohesive, blended look. So maybe blush.
Because of color coordination. I think that's an interesting concept because sometimes it's like, oh, blue eyeshadow and red lips, and it's a little bit too
jarring.
Much.
Yeah,
a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Okay, let's increase it to 3. Like 3. What are your must-have makeup products? You're off the island. You can go shop, but you still want a simple routine that you can do daily, and you're looking for a handful of products.
Ooh.
On just the daily. I'm getting up. I'm late. I hit the snooze button. I got to get to work.
Bronzer. Okay, I said contouring's life, but no, bronzer's really life. Like it takes precedence over contour. Bronzer is it's just an amazing product. It of course warms up your face and gives your skin life, but you can also use it as eyeshadow. I love bronzer as eyeshadow, and I think on like 95% of my clients, I will start with bronzer first as eyeshadow.
I think this is news to a lot of people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like that bronzer is so important.
Oh my God, it's huge.
And I mean, who better to hear it from than a professional makeup artist?
Bronzer's huge, guys. And then a waterproof gel black eyeliner, black regardless of your hair color. So blondes too. And you
everyone can use black eyeliner.
when using it to tightline your upper waterline.
Okay.
Tightline your upper waterline. It is so critical. There's only one client that I've had where I tightlined her upper waterline and I was like, oh, well, maybe that didn't make that much of a difference. But every single other client, it's a huge difference.
Okay.
So for those that don't know what tightlining is, it's placing eyeliner underneath the lashes. So typically you would do your eyeliner on top of your lash line on your lid. But if you place your eyeliner underneath your lash line in that rim, it's so flattering. It's so easy. You don't have to have a steady hand to do eyeliner because it doesn't need to be precise and perfect. You just need to fill in that area at the root of your lash to make your lash line look fuller and thicker, and it defines your eyes, and it's easy. It's so effortless. It's beautiful.
Okay. Bronzer, eyeliner.
And a lash curler, I think. Yeah. Because that's really it's all about the eyes and the lips, right? So everything I do is to attract attention, boom, this way to the eyes and then to the lips.
Yeah.
So curling your lashes, it really opens up the eyes and makes the eyes look beautiful, not only awake and bright and happy, but
that's a good tip on the lash curler. What are your thoughts on products, on the concept of cruelty-free, clean? We have a skincare line that I helped design at our office called Saluja MD, and it's all organic and natural for our patients, where they really want to make sure all the ingredients are ingredients they understand and feel comfortable putting everywhere in any amount. How do you feel about makeup when it comes to organic, natural, cruelty-free, the term clean?
I love it. I love that, clients are starting to jump on that clean beauty bandwagon. And I think you could probably speak more to this than I can, but, the U.S. beauty industry is so highly unregulated. It's insane what companies can put into products, and sell to consumers. It's really frightening. And I think more and more studies have come out that link, cosmetics to infertility and cancer and really scary things like that. So I think there's a definite awareness going on right now. And I've seen it with my clients. More of them have expressed an interest in clean beauty. And I think it's wonderful. So my husband, I've been married to a longtime vegan. He's been a vegan for over 20 years. And so I think his kind of philosophies on, cruelty-free, treating animals with dignity and respect have, of course, filtered into my life and my business. So all of my products are cruelty-free. And I try as much as possible to also use clean beauty products on clients. I was introduced by a client of mine, Michelle Mariacker, who's a wonderful real estate agent. She introduced me to a line called Beauty Counter last year. So she was having maternity portraits done, and she asked if I would use her makeup exclusively. So she brought over, just tons and tons of product to let me play with and sample. And, prior to that, I had not had a lot of great experience working with clean beauty products. I couldn't find clean beauty products that worked. And, my reputation rides on that makeup lasting all day long. It can't just look pretty. It has to stick around through the dance floor and through the tears after I do and all of that. It has to be on for good. So this was the first clean beauty line that actually worked. So I've actually incorporated a lot of beauty products into my makeup kit, and I use them often on clients.
Any tips for getting that makeup to stay in the humidity?
Yep, lots of tips. So there's 3 products that are key to making your makeup last forever until you're ready to wash it off. So that's primer, a setting powder. So anytime you put a liquid on your face, whether that's foundation or concealer, you want to set it in place with a powder. That's really going to lock it in. And then the final product would be setting spray, which is essentially hairspray for your face. So that bad boy really cements the makeup to the face. So it won't come off until you're ready to wash it off.
Very interesting. I know you're speaking of one of your clients. I know one of my patients did a photo shoot for LinkedIn, a professional photo shoot for LinkedIn recently, and you did her makeup, and she said she felt so beautiful, and she smiled confidently, and it gave her confidence. And I bet you have lots of stories like that. Where are you located, and how can clients schedule an appointment? How do people contact you for more information or find you on social media?
I think the best way for clients to reach me is to hop on Instagram or Facebook. On Instagram, I'm Makeup by Darcy MM, and on Facebook, I'm Makeup by Darcy. And come check out my work and see what I'm all about. And if my aesthetic matches yours, then I would love to talk with you a little bit more about what you're hoping to achieve, whether it's just makeup, me applying makeup on you for a photo shoot or family portraits, whatever it is, or if you want to learn how to do what I do and do a full face of makeup. And so I would suggest they jump on my social media first, but I'm actually in the process of moving into a new studio.
Oh, how exciting.
Yeah, we're really excited. So I share a studio space with Olivia Womack, who's a wonderful boudoir photographer. And so it'll be Olivia, myself, and Derek Gores, who is like an internationally acclaimed collage artist. He's amazing. So we'll be sharing a space in O'Galley. And so I think by the time this airs, we'll all be cozied up and moved in together. So I'm really excited about that.
That's one of the things after meeting you, I realized is that makeup is truly an art form. It's complex. And it's something that is worth being educated and trained in by an expert. Any last things you'd like to share that I may not have covered in our conversation?
I know we kind of covered it all. I just want women to know that they can do this. I want to take the intimidation out of makeup. I think so much of this is overwhelming for women. Some will walk into Ulta or Sephora and just don't know what to do, don't know where to go. And so I want to help take the intimidation out of makeup, and I want women to have fun with it because it is fun.
The fun comes across in your enthusiastic voice.
Oh, good.
That was super useful information, and it was a pleasure to learn from you on your passion and for our viewers' best selves. I just want to thank you for your time. I hope we can connect again. Thank you.
Thank you.